Hi, folks. So, those of you that come to any of my classes, either online or at Pilates Physiotherapy Cork in the studio, will know that I'm a big fan of the push up. Push ups are very useful exercises for lots of different reasons. They're kind of a catch all. They're a functional exercise, they replicate things we do in our normal day to day lives. But they'll exercise our shoulders, our rotator cuff muscles around our shoulders. They'll exercise our power muscles in our arms. They'll exercise our core and our tummy muscles. And they can exercise our legs. So you get a lot done. You get a lot of exercise in with this one particular type of exercise. The push-up might sound intimidating in terms of it being a difficult exercise and an exercise for gym bunnies. But there are so many different variations of it that most people could do some level of a push up. If you have any health concerns, check with your chartered physiotherapist or your GP before you start doing these exercises. Or if you have any particular aches and pains that you're concerned about, check with your chartered physiotherapist before doing these exercises as well. So to start off with one of the more basic push-ups, it's a more basic push-up, but it's also a very useful push-up. We'll do a wall push-up. So when I do a wall push-up, my whole body weight isn't on my arms like when I'm down on the floor. So I'm going to set myself up. So I'm standing out a fair distance from the wall, so I have a little bit of a lean in. I don't want to be leaning in too much. I have a little bit of a lean in. My hands, kind of a little bit out of the shot there, but my hands are level with my shoulder and my hands are collarbone distance apart. My fingertips are pointing to the ceiling. So I'm going to keep my hands on the wall. If I completely relax, I'm going to look like this. So I don't want to start my exercise just giving way to gravity like that. So I'm going to imagine that I've got a large, soft peach between my chin and my chest. So I'm just gently dropping my chin down. I want to hold that peach, but I don't want to squash it. I'm going to subtly draw my shoulder blades towards my back pocket. So you're really just opening up the collarbones a little bit, avoiding a hunched up position. So opening up those collarbones a little bit. I'm going to lift my ribs a little. So my ribs are flush with my tummy, that my ribs are not sticking out. So ribs flush with tummy and tailbone ever so slightly tucked in. So all I'm doing is counteracting gravity here. So I'm nice and long through my spine. I have distance, plenty of distance between the top of my head and my tailbone. But other than that, I'm pretty relaxed. My breathing is relaxed. My breathing is comfortable. My shoulders are not hitching up. I'm relaxed and ready to go. So from this position for my push-up, I'm going to bend my elbows and I'm going to move my trunk in towards the wall. And then I'm going to push through my hands to come back out again. And if you watch what I'm doing here, all my movement is wrists, elbows, and shoulders. My trunk is not moving. So one of the things people tend to do with this wall push-up is let the ribs drop again, lift the chin, and poke your head towards the wall. So try and avoid that. Keep that length through your body and go for 8 to 10 push-ups. And that's your wall push-up. If you get tired or if you find you have difficulty controlling it before you get to 8 or 10, then stop. Don't keep going if you've hit fatigue. It might take a little bit of time to get used to these exercises. You can progress that then from the wall to a kitchen countertop or a windowsill. I have a windowsill here. You can probably see it better in my reflection than you can the primary picture of me. So legs are hip distance apart, length through my spine again. So watching for that hanging on your joints with gravity business. So hold your peaches, shoulder blades to back pockets, ribs up, tailbone tucked in. Relaxed breathing, relaxed shoulder girdle, and then the only joints moving being wrists, shoulders, and elbows as I do my push-up, keeping that length through my spine. So watch for this or any version of that happening. So that's a wall push-up, a leaning push-up. You can go down further, you can go down onto a lower table if you want to, or you can start thinking about coming down onto the floor next if you're comfortable coming down onto the floor and you're safe. So coming down onto the floor, and we're going to start off in an all fours position. So again, in all fours, if I relax with gravity, I'm looking like this. So I'm going to hold my imaginary peach. I'm going to open up those collarbones again and draw my shoulder blades to my back pockets. I'm going to lift my ribs just a little and tuck in my tailbone just a little. So instead of now being like this, I'm now nice and long through my spine. My breathing is relaxed. My shoulders are relaxed. You could also come onto fisted hands if that's a bit more comfortable for you. I'm going to bring my legs together, cross my ankles, and lift my feet in the air. You don't have to lift your feet in the air. It just gives you a little bit more momentum with your feet in the air. I'm going to bend my elbows. So again, elbows, wrists, and shoulders are the only joints moving in my body. The length through my spine is not changing. My trunk position is not changing. My hips are flexing as well, but watching out for sticking your tailbone out, dropping the ribs, head up, and pinching shoulder blades, aiming to try and control all of those things as you go down into your push-up. And again, looking at your 10 repetitions, but if you fatigue, or if you're not controlling it well, or if you're breath holding, then stop before that. It'll take a little bit of time, or it can take a little bit of time to build up your 10 repetitions. So moving on then, once you're getting the hang of that and you're finding that one okay, for some people this could take months. Moving on from that, we go to the next level. So we've got the all fours position again, the length through the spine, the relaxed breathing, and I'm going to walk my knees back. So I'm walking my knees back a fair distance, roughly about 40 degrees or so of my hips. Hold my peach, shoulder blades, ribs up, tailbone tucked in. Relax your feet on the floor, and your push-up is in this position for 10. Or until you start to get tired, you start to breath hold, or you start to lose control of your position. And then from there, the last level, curl your toes under. You can bring your hands out a little bit wider if you want to. You can bring your legs out a little bit wider. Curl your toes under, lift your knees off the ground, peaches, shoulder blades, ribs, tailbones, and off you go for your full push-up. So aiming for 8 to 10, and not moving on to the next level until you're comfortable doing that many. When you're doing 8 to 10, I wouldn't do them more than once a day, maybe twice a day if you're finding them fairly easy. But once you get up to 8 to 10, you're kind of really going to be working in the strength zone. So you need recovery time. So if you do 8, have a little breather, do another 8, and then maybe do that twice a week. And that should be loads for your push-up.